The day has finally come. Kristin is 1,000 rated. So many months and years have been alluding to this moment. Let's talk about what it means for her and the sport of disc golf. And be sure to subscribe as I try to achieve 10,000 subscribers before Worlds. I received a ton of good feedback in my last video, and I really appreciate all the love and support. With this astounding achievement, she was getting interviewed by Ultiworld, so I have a lot of information about that particular interview where she reveals a lot of stuff about her mental game and why she's had so many battles coming into this year. In March of 2021, Paige Pierce peaked at 996 rated. It looked like all signs were pointing to her achieving that 1,000 rated, but she ended up never getting above that 996 benchmark to it. But then the new era of Kristin comes in fruition and we get some true European dominance. She mentioned that she was never picking and choosing any event. She really just went with what worked with her schedule, which is important to note. It's like Champions Cup this year. She had so many crazy wind conditions that she was trying to fight through, and it was not easy. So the fact that she is still able to maintain a 1,000 rated average is just wild. Winning every single major, winning Worlds twice, and even though she has not won a major yet this year, she has 3 Elite Series wins and 1 A-tier win at Persimmon Ridge. So while I'll go over how she has stated that she has kind of like a bad mental game this year, she's still winning a lot and averaging a very good finish week after week. And I was comparing her rating with Evelina because she's kind of on the rise, really crushing it. Truly one of the only top players that actually went up in rating, whereas everyone else went down. Evelina went up 7 points this rating refresh. Absolutely insane. Definitely see a world in a couple of years where she might match that 1,000 rated benchmark. Now I know this is kind of like a big claim, but I definitely think it is possible. From the 2022 season on, she has never finished outside top 10. Her worst finish was 6th place at US Women's this year. Every other event has been better than 6th place. Absolutely insane to have that amount of consistency. And it truly goes to show that there was such a long period of time where the level of parity just was not there for FPO. And it really showed that she was just way above the rest. It wasn't even close. So in that time frame of 2022 on, she has won 13 events, won every major in 1 year, won the European Championship. She has only lost to Evelina 3 times and has shot 300 strokes better than Evelina. The biggest disparity being Waco last year, where she won Waco and Evelina went 40th. And while it is not included, she has a 1062 and 1103 rated round at the Disc Golf Championship last year because she would be getting so much closer to that 1,000 rated mark so much earlier, but whatever. So as it sits now, her highest rated round that is currently being counted is 1055 at European Championship last year. And it's a little bit ironic, but her worst rating that's being included, the European Championship with a 910 rated round. And I know it was super windy and she wasn't really pushing, so this round rating really isn't that important, and she won the event, but still crazy that the highest rated and lowest rated rounds are from the same event. But with that said, let's move on to kind of her mental game, where she is at, her future, because it has all kind of felt like this kind of unknown sense of what's going on with her. I don't really understand why she's feeling so bad about her game this year and seeming really just off. And she went into detail about it, and I think it really paints a clearer picture as to why she kind of feels this way. First one being that she almost didn't even get to the US because of visa problems. She has to apply for a sports visa, and the way that she made it sound was that she could not get approval until the last possible day. She made it to Waco and she won, even with all the stress of not getting her visa, traveling last minute. I don't think she had a ton of practice, but she still managed to take it down, really showing her level of dominance. And along with that, she had the flu. She has not been practicing nearly as much as she had in the past, so all these conditions really compounded to being not a great start for her, and she still took it down. Crazy stuff. And she also mentioned that she's engaged to Silver and is kind of trying to deal with the prep of doing a wedding and all the stuff that comes with that. And she also has her daughter that she wishes to spend as much time as possible, but it's not really possible with the tour being in the US. So there's just tons of emotional baggage that comes with all those things. But the final point that I really was not expecting was the notion of public judgment towards her game. I really didn't expect this because I haven't really heard that much about it, but I guess there's been enough comments online about her jump putt being illegal that she kind of felt like she had to change. She had to kind of stop the way she was doing it because she felt like she was getting called a cheater and that she wasn't playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. And she mentioned that she was crying after many events because she just felt so much judgment. It really goes to show that even though players may seem kind of impervious, there's a lot of players that do read what you say online, and it definitely gets back to them. So it really makes you feel maybe be a little less harsh because there's also so many players that are jump putting illegally.
McBeth at 69.
I just told myself, you got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
I mean, it makes sense in the world of sports. You will target the most popular player the most. But the last point on that I wanted to make is that very much in a similar vein as Nicholas when I spoke to him, I think Kristin cares so much about portraying herself in a positive light to make her country of Estonia proud. It's not really a thought that enters our mind too much, but it certainly seems to be the case for these European players that they try so hard to keep a positive name for them and their country. And so I think all of this hate being targeted towards her really affected her because it kind of portrayed her in a negative light, therefore portraying Estonia in a negative light. But it also makes sense as somebody that truly cares so much about their home country. So with that, let's move on to the future of Kristin. She mentioned that she's kind of achieved everything that she wanted to, so there really isn't like a specific goal in mind, but she just wants to maintain her high level of play. And she also mentioned a little bit about her deal with Latitude, which I also found very intriguing. Stating, of course, that she has a good relationship with them, but it did not sound squared away that she's going to re-sign with Latitude. So the potential for Kristin to sign with another company seems very possible. Now, what company that may be, I have no clue. I feel like it would be a European company, but who knows? But I think the fact that Latitude was bought by House of Disc makes it just a little bit harder to connect with your brand. She said she went from talking to the president to now being like a much looser connection with the entire company as a whole. She has no signature series discs. She obviously has discs that have her name on it. She has like the wolf stamp on her grays, but she does not have a signature series disc. And it sounds like she still very much has the same contract as before. There has been no renegotiation. Obviously, she's been selling a ton of product, and I bet she's making a lot of money for Latitude, therefore making her royalties really, really high. But with that said, the potential for her to sign with somebody else feels just so very possible. And the last thing I want to mention about that contract is that she mentioned that the majority of her income is from disc golf, which is very intriguing because she signed with so many different sponsors in the off season. We have the sports gambling company, we have supplements, we have Nike, we have Porsche. There was like some other restaurants that she was kind of promoting. She's had so many obscure sponsors that I thought that would contribute a little bit more to her income, but it sounds like it's just kind of like a fun thing she was doing in the off season. The bulk of her income still is truly just disc golf. So even though she really is the face for Estonia, it sounds like the majority of her income is still just purely disc golf, which is good, how it probably should be, but I'm a bit surprised with the amount of sponsors that is not contributing more to her overall income. So I hope that did not bore you, but with that said, we finally get this new achievement where FPO has 1,000 rated player, and I think before too long it will become players, but as of right now it is just Kristin, and I'm so stoked for this number. Obviously it is just a number, we can't really portray too much projection onto the future, but finally getting closer to the days where FPO looks a little bit closer to MPO is very, very exciting. Because for so many events, especially starting out as a viewer, I felt like FPO was just kind of hard to stomach sometimes. Everybody would miss every single 2-putt, but now that is totally flipped. Every event I go to, I see amazing shots, and it feels like FPO is sometimes the better event to watch because they are so relatable to us AMs, and oftentimes the scores are so close that we get a really cool battle in the final round. So with that said, what do you guys think? Or is it just kind of a dumb number you don't really think about twice? I'd love to know. So with that, be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I have some new merch dropping very, very soon, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. I'd really appreciate it. And with that, Wild Runs signing out. Peace.